This video is sponsored by PotownStore.com, the best place to get yourself some TCGO code cards. Looking for that last card to complete your online deck or just to get the latest booster packs in town, they literally have everything, even the Fusion Strike stuff. So be sure to head over to the website PotownStore.com and use that coupon code ZapDoesTCG for 5% off. Also, head over to cardsmarket.com if you're a European player. This website is fantastic. You can buy and sell cards to people all across Europe, and I personally use it every single day to get rid of cards that I don't need to buy new ones. Use the referral name ZapDoesTCG and you're helping out the channel tremendously. Last but certainly not least is yourplaymat.com. This website is fantastic when you create your own unique custom playmat. They ship worldwide, and of course right now you can get 10% off by clicking the link down below. So start creating your own unique custom playmat for the new season. So thanks for sticking with the commercials. Let's get this video on the roll. Peace. What's up YouTube, it's ZapDoesTCG here and welcome back to our TCG video on my channel. If you're new, be sure to hit that subscribe button, you're gonna get daily content. And today we're checking out the top 10 best decks of the format. This is going to be with Fusion Strike into consideration, so that's gonna be awesome. We have of course a lot of new archetypes to just figure out, and there have been of course a lot of tournaments over at play.limitlesstcg.com which actually are gonna get factored into my opinion when making this list. So if your Shadow Radical X VMAX deck is not in here, if your Rayquaza VMAX deck is not up here, if your Rapid Strike Malamar deck is not up here, don't blame me. This is just the top 10 best decks. It does not mean that your deck cannot win a tournament, but these are going to be the strongest decks with Fusion Strike. So hopefully you guys are excited. If you are, be sure to let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. It helps out so much and I always appreciate it if you would do so. So let's just start off the get-go with Zacian Zamazenta. Who knew that without Luke Metal and without ADP, this deck would still be standing strong? Yeah, we have stuff like Ryan to accelerate energies on top of Metal Saucer. The Crystal Cave also helps out with those annoying quick shooting Inteleon pings. And of course with Cape of Toughness, your Zacian or Zamazenta turn into very huge monsters. Zacian will have 270 HP and Zamazenta even 280. This is a very strong deck because it combines Rotom Phone and the Primate Wisdom ability from the Oranguru. That way you can put something on top of the deck and immediately get it with Rotom, actually immediately draw it out with the Intrepid Sword. And the cool thing is that with Rotom Phone sometimes you can find Balsasaurus, put it on top of the deck, and then Oranguru can draw it out. So a very cool combo, Rotom Phone with Oranguru. Also Intrepid Sword with of course 2 copies of Oranguru will make sure that your first Intrepid Sword most of the time will actually be an energy, because you can put that on top of the deck either with Rotom Phone or with the Oranguru. So a very solid archetype. Also 2 Tool Scrapper to just slap off those Cape of Toughness on other Pokemon. You can 2-shot VMAXs or you can 1-shot just basic V Pokemon. It is a very easy deck to play because you only have to go for Intrepid Sword and just slam attacks with Zacian. On the other side, you also have Zamazenta. If the opponent is not playing Phoebe or Pad to the Peak, you're gonna be going crazy with Zamazenta because you're gonna be immune from damage from VMAX Pokemon. So it also works out very well against the Sylveon matchup. So very interesting to see. Also Joshua Sutherland is one of the people that actually won a tournament with this. It is probably good because he's a very great and skillful player, but I don't know if Zacian Zamazenta is going to be remaining on the top 10 spot. But we'll have to figure that out in a couple of weeks. But this is a very strong archetype. Lots of things you could go for, of course, with of course energy acceleration, slapping huge damage. You can actually like KO a basic V Pokemon instantly, definitely because you have 4 Balls orders. Moving forward, number 9 is going to be that new Rapid Strike Inteleon VMAX deck revolving around the attack of Inteleon VMAX to, of course, put the energy back in hand, and you can Cheryl spam. So you slap 140 damage, you use Cheryl. You slap 140 damage, you use Cheryl. That's how awesome this archetype is. You have access to the Keep Calling Subble if you go second to set yourself up, because you can find your Inteleon V easily because of Keep Calling, because they're all Rapid Strike. Octillery finds the Rapid Strike energy necessary to use the attack. And with of course the double gunner ability, you're going to be able to of course spread some damage on the opponent's bench Pokemon. Of course, if you discard 1 water energy from hand, you can put 2 damage counters on 2 of the opponent's Pokemon. On top of quick shooting Inteleon from chilling range, you're going to be sniping so much damage counters across the opponent's field while consistently healing off your VMAX. This is a solid archetype if you're up against decks that are not able to one-hit KO you. So be sure to of course test out Rapid Strike Inteleon VMAX. Number 8 is Sylveon. Sylveon VMAX is a deck that is right now a very solid archetype because you have the Galarian Moltres package in there, and I don't know if you've noticed, Galarian Moltres one-hit KOs stuff like Dragapult and Mew VMAX, which are very popular. Also, Blaziken can be able to one-hit KO Zacian as well as Genesect V as well as Leafeon VMAX. So you have a great type coverage, and Sylveon can then make quick work of the Urshifu. So great type coverage box, and you have access to a whole heap of attackers. Most of the time they're going to be, of course, requiring the Rapid Strike energy to attack, and the cool thing is that with, of course, energy switch and Galarian Moltres, you can get that 3 energy attack cost filled up for most of these attackers. That's going to be fantastic. Also, back-to-back G-Max Rapid Flow is possible with this list, and Octillery fetches out a Rapid Strike card from deck. That's also the reason why there's one Karina's Focus in here. You can turn your Sylveon VMAX into a 2-price VMAX with the help of a Ribbon Badge, which of course is a tool card equipped onto the Sylveon V or Sylveon VMAX. If you put it onto a Sylveon V becomes a 1-price Pokemon. So very cool to see that this deck is still strong, and you have lots of ways you can deal with opponents depending on the matchup. So strong archetype for sure. Moving forward, number 7 is going to be Leafeon VMAX. Leafeon VMAX also is now hanging on to the Galarian Moltres package. As you can see, Galarian Moltres will be very, very cool in today's format. And you're going to see why the reason that everybody's playing Galarian Moltres in the first place is because, of course, Mew VMAX is bonkers. What else do we have here? Of course, the Galar Mines on top of the Tool Jammer. Tool Jammer makes sure that stuff like Cape of Toughness shuts down, but more importantly, the Air Balloon, so you can actually make sure that the Galar Mine and the Air Balloon does not counteract with each other. So Tool Jammer on top of Galar Mine will make sure that Leafeon VMAX can, of course, KO a lot of Pokemon on top of Quick Shooters. That's going to be fantastic. And the cool thing that Leafeon VMAX has going for this is busted consistency. With Capture Energy, you can find your Leafeon V, and Leafeon V with the Greening Cells is able to, of course, accelerate that Grass Energy instantly, of course, from the deck. So you never whiff out on energies, and if somehow you could just get yourself Crushing Hammered or Fan of Waves, you can always rely on Ryan if you can get KO'd. And the Ryan also works very well with Galarian Moltres to set it up in one turn. So yeah, Leafeon VMAX still around. The cool thing is that this is one of the few decks that has a great matchup against single strike boxes because, of course, Umbreon VMAX is weak to Leafeon, which is a cool thing to note here. Moving forward, number 6 is going to be Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX. You can be playing this with the Melanie version, but you could be playing this with other versions in total. Like, I've seen a lot of Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX lists floating around. The one I'm most comfortable with is, of course, the one with Galarian Moltres, which is kind of like my pet deck in this format as of late. And which, of course, back-to-back G-Max Rapid Flows. It is possible with, of course, Energy Switch to move the energy from the Moltres all the way onto the Urshifu VMAX to then go for back-to-back G-Max Rapid Flows. Moltres again in this list to just counter Mew VMAX because Mew VMAX is just super strong, as you will see later in this video. This list is actually going for 3 copies of Ryan because if you go down instantly, you can just get back-to-back G-Max Rapid Flow as well. And with 3 Ryans, you can set yourself up with back-to-back Moltres as well in certain matchups. So the cool thing is that with, of course, Passimian and yeah, it seems to be no telescopic side in here. I'm always a fan of one telescopic side. Instead, they relied onto a 3rd copy of Ryan. I probably would cut a 3rd copy of Ryan for a telescopic side, so you can get G-Max Rapid Flow for 180 on 2 of the opponent's V Pokemon. So be sure to add that into consideration when creating this list. But I also made a very cool blog post about the specific list over at Poketown Store, so be sure to check that out if you haven't already. But very cool deck. Also, Gale Thrust, one-hit KOs, Jolteon VMAX. You can Gust after Crobats, which are also weak to fighting. And of course, with the Inteleon engine in here, you can fetch out whatever card you want. So still very strong. You don't have to be worrying about your Mew VMAX and Dragapult matchup because of the addition of Moltres. So very cool to see. Moving forward, the number 5 spot here is going to go to Dragapult VMAX, and the reason why Dragapult is just very good is because of Path to the Peak and Marnie. This list has cut down a couple of Path to the Peaks and opted to go for more disruption with 4 Crushing Hammers and a Fan of Waves on top of it. So very strong to see Dragapult VMAX. Of course, disruption is going to be one of your main factors you're winning games because 130 might not be enough, but if you can slow the opponent down enough, you use actually the attack max Phantom slapping 130 to the active and then 5 damage counters wherever you please on the opponent's bench. With, of course, Horror Psychic Energy on top of Quick Shooting and Headbutt Tantrum Zigzagoon, you're going to have, of course, a fantastic time to spread damage across the opponent's entire field. And Dragapult is still around, so so don't sleep on Dragapult VMAX. Moving forward, number 4 spot goes to Jolteon VMAX. Why is Jolteon VMAX so strong? Let me just say this, that you can Cheryl spam, which is already a great thing. The Urshifus have been pushed a little bit to the wayside because of Mew, and that's good news for Jolteon VMAX. You have a high amount of path to the peak to shut down a lot of abilities. Think about Dark Acid Crobat, think about the Genesect Fusion Strike system, think about the Galarian Moltres. So lots of abilities you shut down with path to the peak, and a high count of Marnie in here. On top, of course, there are a lot of decks are playing the Inteleon engines, and yeah, you can actually just knock them out instantly if you just go for Galarian Zigzagoon and then attack in a Sobble and another Sobble, and then at one point if you use Marnie on top of knocking those out, they're actually going to be sometimes bricking like hell. We've seen that Leafeon plays Inteleon, Urshifu plays Inteleon, Dragapult plays Inteleon, so it's a good time to be playing Jolteon these days. And with Elemental Badge, you can use that attack, the Max Thunder Rumble, for only 1 energy. Speed Lightning also gives you that additional consistency. Be wary of Fan of Waves, which is getting more and more popular as of late, but this is a very strong archetype for sure. Now, the top 3 best decks. Are you guys ready for it? Here we go. Number 3 goes to Suicune builds. We have 2 Suicune builds. We have the Ice Rider build and the Suicune Ludicolo build. They're both very strong. I think the Ludicolo is a little bit better, but just let us talk about Ice Rider. The cool thing about if you're playing Ice Rider is that you have an additional weakness. So against Jolteon, you can just go for full-on Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX, which is a bonus. Also with Ice Rider, if you go first and get an Ice Rider with 1 energy, you can sometimes KO a basic V Pokemon out of nowhere, even if the opponent doesn't have a full bench. Very strong, the Max Lance attack. And of course, this list is also running that Path to the Peak small package in here, but Path to the Peak seems to be strong in a lot of decks. Ryan is also in here on top of the 3 Melanies to just get more energies into play. Thing I would include in here is cross switchers, to be honest. I probably would cut down on Tool Scrapper, 1 Scoop Up Net, 1 Ryan, and maybe 1 energy, and then throw in 4 cross switchers, because cross switchers is very strong in the Ice Rider build, as I've tested out before. So very solid list, but then the better list out of the bunch is Suicune Ludicolo, which seems to be everywhere as of late. Very popular deck. You're going to be able to have a great matchup against most VMAX decks because you can one-hit KO them. You have access to capture energy to get your bench set up. Even though they Fan of Waves your capture energy, it doesn't matter as long as you get your full setup. The Drizzle can then find Capacious Bucket. The other Drizzle can find Quick Ball. And then you can Melody on top of it. It's a very, very strong list. Mark my words, Fleet-Footed helps with additional consistency. There's no Stadium Bumper in here, which is a little bit of a shame, but sometimes you don't need that. Stuff like Single Strike decks damage themselves with the Single Strike Roar of the Houndoom, which means you will have an easier time to one-hit KO them with, of course, the crazy attack of Suicune. The Blizzard Rondo on top of the Enthusiastic Dance ability of Ludicolo allows Suicune to slap 100 more damage during that turn, and that's going to be able to KO VMAXs, and that way you uptrade. And you don't always have to be afraid of basic matchups as well, because Ludicolo, you don't always need Ludicolo. Suicune by itself is also very strong on top of the quick shooting Inteleon. So very solid list on the number 3 spot. Then the best decks in the format. Are you guys ready? Number 2 is gonna go to the one, the only single strike decks. I have Gengar set up here, but there's also the way you can play it without Gengar. We're just gonna be talking about this one first because this is the less version out of the 2, but this is going to be also a very strong archetype. So they're very similar. You use the single strike Roar of Houndoom to accelerate energies onto your preferred VMAX or just V Pokemon in general that is single strike. You can attack with Gengar VMAX for only 2 energies, which is 1 energy less than the single strike Urshifu VMAX or the Umbreon VMAX in that regard, which is good. Get an early attack off for every V Pokemon the opponent has in play, 60 damage. You can amplify that with the single strike energies and Vitality Band, which is very, very strong. Umbreon is probably the best gusting card in the game. You just evolve and drag an opponent from the bench all the way to the active slot. Super solid, and that's going to be allowing you to win games. You can take out 3 2-prizers. Don't have to worry about the 1 prize. You can just gust around it. With 4 copies of Tower of Darkness and 4 capture energies, you most of the time will find a couple of Houndours. You also have 4 Quick Balls on top of that, and that's going to be allowing you to win games. There's still 1 single strike Urshifu V in here. just because of the fact it has a different weakness and also is able to slap a ridiculous amount of damage. 180 amplify with single strike energies is very, very strong, and also you can use this to one-hit KO stuff like Eternatus if you ever see that, stuff like Jolteon, one-hit KO that, and this is just a deck. If you can get your Houndour set up, you're gonna be probably winning the game. Sometimes it has a little bit of brick situations going around when your hand is all of evolution Pokemon and an Urn of Vitality and just one Pokemon you're nothing with. But if you can get the setup going, it's one of the strongest decks out there. Same goes for the build more focused on Urshifu VMAX. The single strike Urshifu VMAX is allowing you to slap 270 damage. As mentioned, with single strike energies, you can one-hit KO any VMAX Pokemon and also go through any abilities or any effects. So that if the opponent uses something like a Dyna Barrier attack, you can just go straight through it with this, and it's very strong. The single strike Scroll is also very good if you're having some survivability. If you survive an attack, you can just KO for just one energy, which is very strong. And I don't know which one of the two you prefer, the build with single strike Urshifu VMAX or the build with Gengar VMAX. Make your choice. The cool thing is that you have different typings, and this also has one copy of it, but sometimes it could be priced. So make your choice. They're both very, very strong. And now, are you guys ready for the best deck in the format? Here we freaking go. Mew VMAX, what did you expect? I've seen this list winning a lot of games. This is the one with 4 copies of Battle VIP Pass, and that is going to ensure you have an army of Genesect and Mew set up in no time. Battle VIP Pass only works on the first turn, so even if you go first or if you go second on your first turn, when you're not able to like do some stuff with Battle VIP Pass, you can get your entire army out on top of 4 Quick Balls and some Fog Crystals. So I think this is very, very strong. You might think, what do I do with Battle VIP Pass? That's a dead card in the late game. Well, that's not true because of Cramomatic. This is basically like computer search on a coin flip. You can discard one item card from your hand. We have a lot of items. Think about a Fog Crystal you don't need, an Escape Rope you don't need, maybe something at that specific point. You can just get rid of your Battle VIP passes, discard an item, flip a coin of heads, search your deck for any card. That's more outs to stadium cards, that is more outs to boss's orders, to whatever card you might need. Cramomatic gets you, and that only works 50% of the time, but just discarding your hand and drawing back up with Fusion Strike system is just way too good to pass up on. Stuff like Fan of Waves, you can easily find out with Cramomatic as well. There's the Peony engine finding the Fan of Waves, so Fan of Waves can allow you to win games against single strike if you can slow them down enough, which is awesome. The Dyna Barrier Latias can also win you games against that specific matchup. If they have all VMAX Pokemon in play, you can just spam off with the crazy attack Dyna Barrier, which you can copy with Cross Strike Fusion. Cross Fusion Strike is the attack of the Mew VMAX, being able to copy attacks from your Fusion Strike Pokemon on the bench. Most of the time, Techno Blast will be the attack you're going to be copying from the Genesect, and that's going to allow Mew to just go second turn to 10 or even more damage if you calculate in the power tablets. Tool Scrapper can get rid of annoying Cape of Toughness onto stuff like Suicune, which helps out a ton. And of course, with 2 versions of stadiums, you can also sometimes overlap your own stadium card. You might think, oh no, I got Fan of Waves, no problem. Cramomatic, find your Alessa Sparkle at the correct time and you're still in the game. This deck literally has it all, and just because of the crazy draw power of Genesect. Oricorio also helps in the mirror match to just have some extra durability with the crazy Lesson and Zeal. That means 20 less damage to your Mew VMAXs in general. So sometimes that could be a game-changing scenario if they just want to target down your Genesects or whatever, but I don't know. If maybe the Oricorio is not here for the mirror match because you also probably will need some extra defense. We'll see. They probably will need a bunch of power tablets. Let's say they have 4 power tablets and 1 power spike turn. Then the KO, of course, everything you can see in the board. But yeah, this is another Pokemon, so you have less mulligans, and more Pokemon in play means more cards with Genesect. So very, very strong deck, and that's the current top 10 decks in the format. Let me know which deck you are currently playing, and in the comments below, which deck do you think will be better in the near future? I'm curious to hear your opinion. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. I always appreciate it and helps out so much. I put a lot of time and effort into making these videos, so I always would appreciate it if you enjoy what you see. Just do your thing. Yeah, that's it for this video. Hopefully, you guys have a fantastic day and rest of your day, and just try to make one of these lists. If you're new to playing the Pokemon TCG, select one of these 10 lists, and you're gonna be doing golden. Mark my words. anyhow, I will see you guys tomorrow for more Pokemon TCG epicness. But before we go, be sure to head over to our sponsors, PokeTownStore.com, the best place for TCGO code cards. You can use that coupon code ZapDoysTCG for 5% off your entire order. Super nice if you're looking to complete your online decks. And don't worry about completing your online decks in TCG Online, because they do transfer over to TCG Live. So all the cards, your playsets, all get transferred to TCG Live. So stock up on your playable cards right now using the coupon code ZapDoysTCG for 5% off. Also, head over to cardmarket.com. If you're a European player, you can buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. I personally use it every single day to just complete my in real life decks, so you guys should do that as well. Last but not least is yourplaymat.com. Go to yourplaymat.com by clicking the link down below. You get 10% off when creating your own unique custom playmat. How cool is that? So head over, and they ship worldwide, so that's also a very cool factor in. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow for more Pokemon TCG epicness. This was the top 10 best decks of Fusion Strike. Peace.